All right. Welcome back to Eyes Open Media. Prophet John here. Hope you guys are doing well. Okay, so Amy says that Joe Biden's running mate should be a woman of color as she withdraws from the VP race. Interesting. Now, why would Amy withdraw from being the VP? Right? Um, just because people are in the streets protesting, that shouldn't be a reason for her to drop out of being the vice president. I'm pretty sure since she was young, she grew up wanting to be a vice president, a president, and here's your opportunity. And all of a sudden, she's withdrawing for someone else, and saying, well, it should be an African American. And this is what I've been talking about the whole time: symbols and signs. They want an African American in there because it's going to be a symbol, it's going to be a sign. And when they put an African American in there, they don't expect to do nothing for you. you know, we got you an African American vice president. That should be good enough. And that's what they say every time, right? Every time an African American or an ADOS person is in a position of power, they don't expect to do anything for you because they say, well, you got somebody in position, that should be good enough, right? Why are you bothering us now? You have your symbol, you have your sign, right? And that's because they believe that African Americans and ADOS people and brown people and minorities in general, um, they believe that signs and symbols in power positions are good enough. You don't really need any type of reforms, right? You don't need reforms, you don't need regulations, you don't need you don't need funding for your schools, you don't need funding for your buildings, you don't need funding for your neighborhoods, you don't need to rebuild your neighborhoods and reconstruct your neighborhoods. You don't need equal loans at the banks. You don't need any of that stuff. You don't need to re-educate yourselves in the communities to learn a trade or to be able to create jobs. You don't need any of that stuff. You have a symbol, and that's a vice president. Why are you angry? And so this is what was going on under Obama. As Obama was the president, and people were asking for stuff, and they would tell them, "You have Obama as president, and you're still arguing, you're still yelling, you're still upset. You people are never happy." I mean, this is unbelievable, but this is what they want to do. And so this is the agenda, is to try to get Kamala Harris, who the African American and ADOS people booted out of the presidency. They want to put her in there. They're not trying to find somebody else. They're not trying to find somebody else. They're going to put the person that the African Americans and ADOS people already kicked out of the presidential race. How's that going to work for Joe Biden, right? Matter of fact, Joe Biden was supposed to already been removed from presidency. I believe that what happened is that we all were talking about it on YouTube and social media, that they changed their game plan. That I have a feeling that's exactly, because I thought that was exactly what was going to happen, and I started talking about it, that I believe they're going to change their game plan. Too many people are talking about Joe Biden's going to step down, right? And they can hear this stuff. They see it. That's why they're doing YouTube commercials now of Joe Biden, right? So I think they changed their game plan. He was supposed to step down. Everybody that's in the inside got that information. Okay, everybody who has a connection to the inside got the same information at almost the exact same time. People that know people in the Pentagon or White House or Congress, we all got the same information. Okay, and that there's maybe a different time here and there, but then we also had prophetic people talk about it. So we all know that that was the correct information. They changed the game plan. They changed the game plan on Joe Biden. He was supposed to step down, and they didn't. But now there's a new game plan. I don't know what that new game plan is because I haven't been told what that new game plan is. I guess, but I guarantee you, if Joe Biden's the candidate with Kamala Harris, they're going to absolutely fail like crazy in this election. Okay, if that's the Democrats' game plan, they're in for a big trouble, and Amy knows it, and she's out. She's like, I'm not gonna be embarrassed. Okay, you know what happened in the UK elections? Boris Johnson won by a landslide. And that's exactly what Donald Trump's going to win if they keep Joe Biden in there and they had Amy Schumer or they go with Joe Biden with Kamala Harris, however you say her name. It's going to be a gigantic fall. Okay, so good luck to the liberals on that one because they're putting out the worst candidates out here. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have nothing in common. They were going at each other in the debates, calling each other all types of names. Kamala Harris has already been outcast by the African Americans and the ADOS people. Good luck on getting the African American ADOS votes because of Kamala Harris. That's going to keep the African Americans and the ADOS people from even voting for Joe Biden because of Kamala Harris. So that's just it's just ridiculous. But we also have to remember that there was already secret meetings a while ago for Donald Trump to win two terms in a row, and so it was already this is already just all they're doing right now is playing a theater role, right? They're acting what they've already planned out and scripted out. So Donald Trump is already guaranteed to win. They've already discussed that in the elite meetings, and also we already know prophetically it was already cast down from heaven as well. So we have it from the elite meetings and from the prophetic words. So from Hank Kuhneman and Charlie Schomp and Mark Taylor and Kim Clement and many others, right, have been told that years and years and years ago, right? But they also had an elite meeting that Donald Trump was going to win two terms, but make it nasty, make it divisive, make it nasty, dramatize it, make people believe that you actually care about them. You know, liberals make it believe that you care about African Americans but behind the scenes we're passing laws that we don't care about African Americans. We're cheering against them, right? We are actually the biggest enemies against the African Americans, but we're not going to let them know that, right? Um, and so this is what happens. And so Amy knows that Amy sees something going on, and she's like, you know what? Let me drop out of here and go pick a African a woman of color instead. You know, knowing that if it's Kamala Harris, it's that's not gonna you're not gonna get any votes from African American ADOS if you go with Kamala Harris, right? And so this is kind of interesting here because you got people tweeting, yeah, Kamala Harris should be the person, and well, Kamala Harris did terrible in the presidential candidacy, right? So how can somebody that did terrible? Elizabeth Warren did better than Kamala Harris. My God, the Asian guy did better than Kamala Harris. I mean, are you kidding me right now? Like Kamala Harris is the best you guys can pick. The person who bombed in the presidential elections is the person that you think are going to have African Americans lining up to vote for Joe Biden because one little stroke from Joe Biden. I mean, his health isn't even. He's old, so his health. I mean, could he last 4 years? And that's a question mark right there, right? Who knows, right? His health is in jeopardy, and we all had concerns about Donald Trump's health as well when he was running as well. He's have been able to hold up, but Joe Biden's a lot older, so it's like, could he go 4 years? And if he is not able to go 4 years, Kamala Harris is our president. Are you kidding me? You know what I mean? So African Americans are not going to be voting, and ADOS people are not going to be voting for Joe Biden because of Kamala Harris, right? They shouldn't be voting for him in the first place. He's the one that put the crime bill together and created the crime bill that locked everybody in prison, locked all the African Americans and the Spanish people and the Cuban people and the Puerto Ricans or whatever you want to call yourself. He locked all the minorities away for years and years and years of petty crimes. We shouldn't be voting for him in the first place. Okay, so but the fact that people are out there promoting Joe Biden and saying we're going to vote for him, now they're going to probably say, wait a minute, no, I'm not voting for you if Kamala Harris is on that ticket. Mm-mm. We already ousted her, right? So we already ousted her. So that would be a slap in the face, right? And so that's what they do. Liberals want to slap African Americans and ADOS people in the face. They, you're gonna vote for us regardless. You're not black if you don't vote for us. Well, technically, Joe Biden, we're not black. You know what I mean? We that name came from America. It never came from Africa. It didn't come from anywhere else except for America to us. Now, in the Soviet Union's uh, people of Caucasus used to be called blacks, and they were called that as a derogatory name, and they were made fun of, and they were marginalized, and basically the same thing that you guys are doing to the people you call black in America now. That's pretty interesting. How common is that? What a coincidence that is, isn't it? Anyways, so that's what's going on, and Amy says, "I'm out of here. I'm dodging out of here." And look at these polls here. It says new Fox poll: Biden 50% and Donald Trump 38%. Absolute lie. Absolute lie. And this is what they did under Hillary Clinton. And so they're doing this for a reason. They're doing this. They're doing these fake polls for a reason because when Donald Trump wins, they're gonna blame it on somebody else interfering again. So Hillary Clinton was up in all the polls on because they were fake polls, right? And so when Donald Trump won, they had to blame it on they blame it on Russia. Oh my God, Russia interference. No, your polls were fake. That's all it is. And so they're doing it again so that they're doing this on purpose so that when Donald Trump wins by a landslide, which he will, if it's Joe Biden and and Kamala Harris, right? He's gonna win by a landslide. He might even turn California red because that's how much California hates Kamala Harris. And so this is gonna be very interesting, man. I wonder if Seattle and New York will never turn red, in my opinion. They've lost their mind, but there's a lot of like country areas and redneck areas and also conservative areas in California. Okay, California is a big state. There's a lot of country out there, and they've seen what the liberals have done to Hollywood and the liberal areas and San Francisco. They're tired of it, and they might all come out finally and vote for Donald Trump now and say, no, we're not. We can't. We're not going to accept these high rising prices and our real estate anymore. We're not gonna. We don't want to see all this homeless people. That's crazy that California is voting. Well, I'm not going to say Californians are actually voting liberals because we know that the things are actually corrupted, and I believe California should have went red last election. But I think there's so much corruption and voter fraud in California that they've been keeping it blue for a while. I think California wants to go red, and you can tell by all of the craziness that's going on. I mean, the millions of homeless people. I mean, if the liberals actually cared about people, why are there so many homeless people in liberal states? Like you can, I mean, the feds are printing unlimited amount of money, but you can't, you got homeless people everywhere. That's unbelievable. And so they'll say, "Oh, we care about people." Then you go to their state, and people are pooping on the streets, and homeless people are everywhere. Places are abandoned and destroyed. It's like, what's going on, man? I thought you guys cared about people. No, they don't. They want destruction. That's what they want. And so Joe Biden would bring that destruction. Joe Biden would be happy to bring that destruction to America. He would be happy to introduce the New World Order to America. The New World Order is already rising now under Donald Trump. So you can only imagine what it would be like under Joe Biden. Okay, it would be horrendous. Matter of fact, most of us would probably move out of America or go into safe zones. Right, we would go into our safe zones if Joe Biden wins. For some reason, if Joe Biden did win the presidency and upset Donald Trump, people, most of us would move into safe zones immediately. Okay, so or we would leave America immediately. So we're either going to leave America or we're going to go into our safe zones if Joe Biden wins, because that's how bad it would be in America off the bat. I mean, he would go to war with everybody. He would destroy everything. He would actually come after people who voted for Donald Trump, right? He would do all types of crazy stuff. He would probably go against our own military and bringing the United Nations to go to war with against our military in country. I mean, you don't even know what Joe Biden is capable of, and it would be a complete disaster. And so, I think a lot of us would go into the safe zones in America, and whatever that is for you, you need to pray about that, or you would leave America and go to other countries because it would be complete disaster if Joe Biden wins the elections, because they would look to get revenge on everything, even though they're corrupt. They still believe that because you're coming after them as corrupt people, they should get revenge on you, right? So it's like somebody who stole something out of the store, but then they get mad that you caught them for stealing out of the store, that they want revenge on you. They did something wrong, but now they want revenge because you caught them doing wrong, and that's what the Democrats want to do to Donald Trump and all the people that support him, right? So if they win, they're going to look to come for revenge because you were ousting me for all the bad things I was doing in Congress, so now you must pay. Right? And so this is the craziness, and we'll see what happens come election time. But I believe that Trump's going to win by a landslide, and there's going to be areas in America that is controversial, and because they're not going to want to accept the elections, and maybe they'll make it closer just for fun. Maybe Trump doesn't win by a landslide. Maybe they make it close on purpose. By maybe if Donald Trump can get the tax ID stuff and everything like that, then he'll win by a landslide. But if he doesn't, and they allow corruption to seep in, maybe he only wins by a few votes. And they say, then they go crazy by wanting re-elections and recounts, and we're gonna take our state away out of America. We're no longer part of America. All types of crazy stuff like that could happen if they make this thing close, and they might make it close just for drama, right? And Donald Trump's gonna tell him, well, as long as I win, it doesn't. I don't. It is what it is, right? So so I think they might make it very close. Just even though it shouldn't be even close at all, they might make it very close just so they can have all that drama come out, and the media can make a ton of money off of it. Anyways, peace out, God bless, and Amy drops out. That's a good decision by Amy, dropping out and saying, look, a woman of color, take this downfall for me. That's basically what she's saying. A woman of color, take this downfall for me because this is going to be embarrassing. So. And they want to put Kamala Harris in there, right? And the one that was ousted by ADOS and African Americans and had a terrible outing in the presidential candidacy. That's the person they want to put in there. That's embarrassing. And so yeah, Kamala Harris is going to be embarrassed again. So she was embarrassed the first time as a presidential candidate. Now, if she becomes the vice president, they're going to be embarrassed again, in my opinion. Anyways, peace out. God bless. Eyes open.